The legend, is he back?
Whoa!
Oh!
King's back.
Ron Howard, ladies and gentlemen.
Man,
Ron Howard is back. We're going to open up to Ron. Just say something on the mic so they know it's really you, man.
Okay, I'm here.
There he's here, man. So call up 888-742-3345.
This is Sway. Sway.
Sway.
Sway.
In the morning.
In the morning. In the morning.
Shake it, body.
Wake your fuck ass up.
That crust out, y'all.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
So, we agree. We're opening it.
Now, that's a clip from the new film Inferno, which hits theaters today. Director and producer of the film is with us right now. The legendary Ron Howard is here.
Wow, man.
Good to be here.
Now-
Good to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back,
Yeah,
man.
pleasure.
Yeah, man, you've been working your ass off, bro.
You know, my kids are all grown.
Yeah.
And it turns out I really like this directing, producing thing, so I might as well do more of it.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
I will talk about Inferno because that's out today, but we were just talking off air about Nat Geo and some of the programming they have going on. And I've been seeing this promotion for Mars.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, it's part scripted and part documentary, and so at the same time, look, it's been an amazing year. While I'm doing Inferno, which is this, big movie, IMAX, go to all the locations, thriller, suspense, Robert Langdon movie, real popcorn movie. At the same time, I'm doing the Beatles documentary.
Oh, what?
Which is now on Hulu. And that I was proud of that. And meanwhile, I've been one of the key executive producers on Mars, getting to interview people like Elon Musk and Scott Kelly up in the space station and stuff like that. And that's a really interesting experiment. And I think all of these things speak to their audience in the way they're supposed to. So I'm proud of them.
You interviewed them while they were in the space station?
Yeah, Scott Kelly. He went up there and lived there for a year to try to so that they could ascertain what it would mean to the human body. And he has a twin brother. So they measured the twin brother at the same time that he was living this year in the space station to see what that kind of space travel would entail.
What kind of results? Like, did his body age more?
Right.
Like, what kind of results?
Yeah, it beats them up. Eyesight suffers, body mass suffers. They have to do a lot of working out and so forth, and so it's it's a fascinating time. For me, and also, our company with Brian Grazer and Imagine Entertainment, we get to work on a lot of different stories. We have Empire, we have New 24s coming out, still trying to get some more Arrested Development happening, and that's looking kind of promising. So the company's real busy, and it allows me this chance to sort of be a part of a lot of different stories.
Empire.
Oh, well, that's I can't claim much credit for that. I don't work on that show, but Brian Grazer, and of course Lee Daniels and the team, really came up with something powerful and strong. But the great thing is, the company's so proud of it. We're all proud of it creatively and for the themes it puts out. But then it's a hit. It's so fantastic. When when the audiences go for it, it means everything.
A lot of people don't know this, Ron. I know you're going to be modest about this, and you probably act like this really didn't happen. But I did the first 2 seasons on Empire. I did a cameo, and Ron had a lot to do with walking me on the show, y'all. Ron Howard.
You
got directed by Ron Howard?
No, he just walked me on. He made sure I got that.
So
Thank Ron. I never got a chance to thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
I appreciate it, man. Ron Howard is here now. Inferno. DB actually got a chance to see it. I decided to wait till it came out in theaters so you could make money.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
much appreciated.
Well, thank you for setting me up like that. I went to go see it on Tuesday, and I mean, I've been a fan of Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code before that. So, and I know you and your partner Brian Grazer, who produced the film, and you're the director. So, I mean, there's so much I want to ask, but I don't want to give too much away. First thing is, we had John Lithgow here the other day, Lithgow here, and he said that the way he sees a villain as almost the hero.
Yeah.
And in this movie, the villain is more of an idea rather than a particular person.
Right.
Did you kind of see it that way too, or?
Yeah, well, I love the fact that this is unlike the Da Vinci Code, say, and even Angels and Demons, where the crisis, the thing that's churning up all the drama and the danger is kind of comes from the past. It's a religion or it's history, and it sort of has this long ripple effect. This is immediate. This is about overpopulation, the controversy of it. We know it's running away. It's threatening the planet, and this brilliant individual who thinks he can solve it on his own in a fanatical, dangerous, terroristic way, and that's to create a plague. And the interesting thing, so that's there's nothing really controversial about that, except that it certainly stirs up a fear in all of us, because we've all thought about it in one way or another. And the Robert Langdon character, Tom Hanks, of course. What's interesting about this one is that he's usually above it all. He's brought in. He's brilliant. He's this academic. He's an intellect, and he follows the clues and he can put it all together. In this case, as you kind of heard in that clip, he's a little lost in this thing. He doesn't quite know where he fits in. He's had an injury, a head injury. He doesn't really know what he can trust of his own memory, and this, I think, is what's creating a greater sense of, suspense or tension. Because through all of our test screenings, people just kept saying, well, I like they like these movies, but this one feels like the edgiest and fastest paced.
Yeah, because the movie starts out with it proposes a question to the audience. You have your finger on a switch. If you hit it, then I think it said half the world's population is going to die. If you don't, everybody's going to die within 100 years. Right. So it's almost like a lose-lose scenario.
Yes, right.
And so the audience kind of has to decide for themselves as they're watching the movie, which is the right thing to do. Yeah. Are we all going to die, or should we just go ahead and kill a few people to save the rest of us,
And of course the point of view is that can't be the option. What we really have to do is pull together and work towards solutions. But it's really about geniuses clashing, because the guy who's planning the plague, played by Ben Foster, he's clearly a genius. So is Robert Langdon. The Sienna character, played by Felicity Jones, another Oscar-nominated actress that we have in the movie, she's great. She's not a love interest for him. She's almost like she's a different gender and a different generation, but Langdon sees a lot of himself in her. She's fragile in certain ways. She's very much very humanistic in certain ways, and off the charts brilliant. Yeah. And so it's sort of this collection of these high-powered intellects that are thrown into this thing and running for their lives. And this, by the way, it's just interesting how things go as a director, because this was a more modern crisis, because it's more of it's through Hanks's point of view, trying to figure out where he fits in and what the clues are, because Dan Brown put the clues in the Inferno, Dante's Inferno, hell, that's where the clue path lives. Yeah. So everywhere he goes, he's being confronted with these kind of hellish images and these clues, trying to figure out where he fits in and how to get to the bottom of this and how to save the world. Because of all that, it pushed me to shoot it in a very different way. And like the movie's 15 minutes shorter than the other movies. Yeah. It's just paced differently, and the camera style's different. And even Hans Zimmer, when he came to score the movie,
he did an updated version of the score from the original.
He did. He said, "Ron, this is a completely different kind of thriller. It's cooler, it's edgier, not taking anything away from the others, but those were classic." And that's the way I treated it musically. This, we can break down some of those themes and use them, but we gotta give it this urgency and drive, because that's what I feel watching it. So it was really interesting to see how it took on a life of its own.
Yo, Ron Howard just sold the shit out of
that
movie. Okay. Hey, man, I'm going today. Oh, my God. Inferno in theaters today. We're going to open up the phone lines. 888-742-3345. Mars, you got to be on the lookout for that. You also... You're about to begin shooting a series about Einstein, Albert Einstein, right?
Yes, we're doing again for Nat Geo. This is scripted; it's not documentary, but it's 10 hours about Albert Einstein, and Jeffrey Rush is going to play the older Albert Einstein, and a guy named Johnny Flynn is playing the younger. Great cast. It's based on Walter Isaacson's book, and it's just another example of what I was talking about, is getting to work on all kinds of different stories.
What will we find out? Is it something we're going to find out that we haven't read or known before about Albert Einstein?
Yeah.
Like give me an example.
Yes, please. A teaser.
ladies' man.
Wow.
And they loved this guy. They loved this guy. You know, he'd kind of, the hair would be flying out. He'd be playing the violin and doing a little E = MC squared, and you know.
Throw it all in together.
and it all worked
Put a
for
little
him.
pie in there.
I thought he didn't shower. Is that true?
That's not something that I picked up in the book. No, I don't think we're playing that up. But, no, I haven't. No, I'll tell you what. A genius, undeniable genius, obviously, and part of the tension of that story is when you start to realize all the obstacles that he was facing. Because of his religion, he was Jewish. He wasn't a particularly religious person, but he was growing up in Germany, and there were a lot of forces working against him. And even when he wanted to come to America and escape, you know, the Nazi tyranny, then J. Edgar Hoover said, "I don't think we want this guy in because he might be a communist." And so he got in, but it was fascinating how many obstacles there were trying to, in a way, prevent this guy from giving the world everything that he had to offer. And I think that's an interesting theme that you just feel throughout it. And he navigated, you know, he navigated all that. And sometimes he was his own obstacle. Because he was a complicated guy.
And he had a lot of sex in the process. He was human first. He was human, right?
Ron, going back to that immaculate sell you gave of Inferno and thinking about some of the themes about, like, you know, people feeling it's a lose-lose situation, it's a crisis, we're all going to die. It made me think of the presidential election. And I'm wondering, since you're loving this role of being a producer and a director, would you ever consider producing and directing a film about this crazy presidential election?
It would be a great subject, but as you know, I think there's going to be a lot of serious work done about it because you know, I'm really hoping it goes to the Democrats in every way.
So
that's
you voted
me.
for Hillary? Yes, Hillary.
I already voted. I was going to be out of the country, so I did my absentee ballot.
Okay,
but you know, it's an amazing time. Also, you know, I think in the wake of what's proven to be a great presidency, and then you got Donald Trump, this kind, you know, this self-promoting gas bag, and it's kind of unbelievable that he's been able to get as far as he has. But he's speaking to a big portion of the population who obviously need something. They need, you know, and I think I think that you know, that we all have to be thinking about, you know, how he could appeal and why, and take that. On the one hand, you can sort of say, well, a portion of it is, you know, they're just the people whose opinion you just don't respect. But a lot of those people, you know, they're great citizens and they're participants, and you need to understand, you know, why they feel as strongly as they do, and try to get to the bottom of it. So there's great work to be done. There will be great documentaries. I think there's a fantastic Broadway musical in just Trump the musical.
Oh, Trump!
You onto something right there.
You know, I think that's what we really want.
That's what we want. Right?
Forget the presidency. Just go to Broadway, baby.
Man, that's you, man. That's the next project. Talk to Brian if y'all need me to cameo.
Okay.
I got you. Got you.
Ron, speaking of work, you had mentioned when the music was playing that your kids are out of the house, like all your kids are grown out of the house. How do you relax? Because it seems like your mind is always going and you taking on projects. What's your downtime like?
Well, you know, Cheryl and I we're really compatible after 41 years of being married. It's
nice,
great.
man.
Well, thank you. But it's still, you know, really for us, it's movies, it's shows, it's, you know, we both love it. She's a novelist, and so we're kind of always talking about a story. We're always talking about, you know, a point of view about something, and you know, look, she's very politically astute. And so this is a time of year where, you know, it's easy to find something to talk about.
Yeah.
And maybe even get a little pissed off about.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, going back to Inferno just real quick, because you worked with Tom Hanks for a long time. You started in 1984 with Splash.
Right.
So now that Tom has become sort of a filmmaker in his own right over the years, do you allow him to kind of give you pointers when you're the director on a film?
Well, I encourage him to let me know what he's thinking. He never would do that. Like, he wouldn't say, have you thought about this shot or that shot? Or he'll bring up a script point. He's an excellent writer. And of course he's more than a pretty good filmmaker. He's an award-winning producer and writer.
True.
And, you know, he's a powerhouse. So, but he's so polite with me that, in all honesty, you know, I kind of have to prod him a little bit to go beyond thinking of his role. You know, and be a collaborator in the process. Yeah. He loves this Robert Langdon character, because he loves the places that the character goes. He loves the kinds of clues. He loves the fact that you have to understand something about art or something about history, that you didn't know, that you're actually learning while you're watching the mystery unfold, and that's fun. You don't think about what you're learning, but on the way home, you picked up a few things. He loves delving into it that way, and it's why he keeps wanting to come back to the character.
All right. We're going to take a couple of phone calls before you leave. Ron Howard is here. And what a day we've had.
I know. I just shook my head. I'm like, wow.
For real. Same here.
P Rock, what up, man? You in Detroit?
Yeah. What's going on, Sway?
What's happening, man?
Man, nothing much. First of all, I want to say congratulations on that interview this morning. I think today is a day you need to pop a bottle or two, break out that Henny. Celebrate.
I tried to tell him. I tried to take him out last night.
Yeah, Heather took me to drink. But what were we drinking? Tell Ron what you had me drinking.
we were drinking 25-year-old whiskey last night.
No
it
kidding.
was good stuff,
Wow.
but we're paying for it.
You look all right. You look all right. You're doing fine.
I'm doing all right. So what you want to say to Ron Howard? Go ahead, P Rock.
I just want to say, Ron, I really appreciate, your passion that you put behind in your films. It really shows. And just listening to your interview, you're not doing this just for the money. You're involved in things that you're passionate about, and it shows in your films. Because anytime I hear a film produced by Ron Howard, I immediately am curious and I want to see it.
Man, well, that's high praise. That's high praise. That makes me feel really good. I appreciate it, and I do think that. Look, there's something interesting going on between television and digital and movies. It's really competitive, and the business people don't know what to do. They don't know what to invest in. They don't know how much to pay people. They're really confused. But for audiences and for storytellers, for creative people, it's a great time, because if you love a story, you can find the right place for it, and Inferno belongs on a big screen, and that's that kind of experience. I know a lot of people will see it on TV later, but I mean it's great that it's getting the kind of presentation it is. It's that kind of a story. But Mars would never get made. It just wouldn't. I mean, that idea of combining documentary with scripted material and still trying to create tension and excitement wouldn't have happened if Nat Geo didn't exist at this time and sort of say, hey, we think we can reach. We think we can reach more people, and if we take some chances. Well, that's incredibly exciting. So thank you, sir, for your kind words. And you're right, I do love it.
Hey, his name is P Rock. You want to say his
P Rock? Thank you. Much P Rock. I appreciate that.
Ron, hip hop's right.
I know you got to go. One final question.
One final question, because Halloween is coming up and it's my favorite holiday. Do you have a favorite scary movie?
Oh, favorite scary movie. Well, The Exorcist is the one that scared me the most.
Man, me too.
But I gotta say, The First Ring.
The Japanese original?
Not the Japanese original, which I then saw, and I know a lot of purists say that's even scarier.
Right.
But I saw the Gore Verbinski one, and I went just kind of thinking it would be a couple of chuckles. And in fact, I went with my son, and it was at a golf tournament. There were some guys sitting in front of us who were real wise asses. They were like 17, 18 years old, and they were like, we shouldn't have come to this movie. And then all of a sudden, this isn't going to be scary. And about 45 minutes into it, one of the guys was scared to death. He turned and he said, we shouldn't have gone in here. I don't know. We should have seen the other one. So I knew that was a scary movie. Even though it was PG-13, it still scared the hell out of me.
It's a scary movie. Ron Howard, ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to have you on this show.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. We got a chance. Gary Marshall has since passed.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but we had a great conversation with him, and he spoke so highly about you.
Well, thank you. Well, he was world class. He was the best boss I ever had. A great natural teacher and a real gentleman. And I'm glad you got a chance to get to know him. We all miss him.
Thank you. Inferno in theaters today. Take your date. Take your family. Make sure you go check it out. All right. We got Young Jeezy up next. You want to talk with Jeezy? That's 888-742-3345.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45.
level up. Совесть чистая, новый уровень творчества. Доли листа и долгий у тебя фристайм. Выбери места, коридор как нотный стан. Если устал, запускай. Level up, yo. Level up, yo. Level up, yo. Level up, oh. Выход на уровень новый, you know me. Стайл до этого был более томный. На тонну не надо нам маны для канонады. Да, кон законом погони понял, что Белибер, да. Дам дань моде новыми фишками. Лишь бы ты гонял этот трек на репите до вишни. Друг, лишним не буду и магия вуду в аду заведет вас, разгоняя победы и беду. Может быть день, где-нибудь и ночь. Может быть мое появление заставит вас тоже тут набрать опыта по пути перестать так тормозить. Ну и куда же ты идешь? Арта, он яркий, справа и слева уже пришли к вам, чтобы поднять левел. Level up, level up. Level up, yo. Level up, yo. Level up.
came up with something powerful and strong. But the great thing is, the company's so proud of it. We're all proud of it creatively and for the themes it puts out. But then it's a hit. It's so fantastic. When when the audiences go for it, it means everything.
A lot of people don't know this, Ron. I know you're going to be modest about this, and you probably act like this really didn't happen. But I did the first 2 seasons on Empire. I did a cameo, and Ron had a lot to do with walking me on the show, y'all. Ron Howard.
You got directed by Ron Howard?
No, he just walked me on. He made sure I got that.
So
Thank Ron. I never got a chance to thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
I appreciate it, man. Ron Howard is here now. The legend, is he back?
Whoa!
Ron Howard, ladies and gentlemen. Man, Ron Howard is back. We're going to open up to Ron. Just say something on the mic so they know it's really you, man.
Okay, I'm here.
He's here, man. So call up 888-742-3345.
This is Sway. Sway.
Sway.
Sway.
In the morning.
In the morning. In the morning.
Shake 45.
Wake your fuck ass up.
Crust out, y'all.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
So, we agree. We're opening it.
Now, that's a clip from the new film Inferno, which hits theaters today. Director and producer of the film is with us right now. The legendary Ron Howard is here.
Wow, man.
Good to be here.
Now,
good to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back, man.
Pleasure.
Yeah, man, you've been working your ass off, bro.
My kids are all grown.
Yeah.
And it turns out I really like this directing, producing thing, so I might as well do more of it.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
I will talk about Inferno because that's out today, but we were just talking off air about Nat Geo and some of the programming they have going on, and I've been seeing this promotion for Mars.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's part scripted and part documentary, and so at the same time, look, it's been an amazing year. While I'm doing Inferno, which is this, big movie, IMAX, go to all the locations, thriller, suspense, Robert Langdon movie, real popcorn movie. At the same time, I'm doing the Beatles documentary.
Oh, which
is now on Hulu. And that I was proud of that. And meanwhile, I've been one of the key executive producers on Mars, getting to interview people like Elon Musk and Scott Kelly up in the space station and stuff like that. And that's a really interesting experiment. And I think all of these things speak to their audience in the way they're supposed to. So I'm proud of them.
You interviewed them while they were in the space station?
Yeah, Scott Kelly. He went up there and lived there for a year to try to so that they could ascertain what it would mean to the human body. And he has a twin brother. So they measured the twin brother at the same time that he was living this year in the space station to see what that kind of space travel would entail.
What kind of results, did his body age more?
Right.
What kind of results?
Yeah, it beats them up. Eyesight suffers, body mass suffers. They have to do a lot of working out and so forth, and so it's it's a fascinating time. For me, and also, our company with Brian Grazer and Imagine Entertainment, we get to work on a lot of different stories. We have Empire, we have New 24s coming out. Still trying to get some more Arrested Development happening, and that's looking kind of promising. So the company's real busy, and it allows me this chance to sort of be a part of a lot of different stories.
Empire.
Oh, well, that's I can't claim much credit for that. I don't work on that show, but Brian Grazer, and of course Lee Daniels and the team, really